Welcome back. I'm Andrew, your crypto guy on the internet, and today it's no more messing around. It's time to show you how I actually do trades using Market Cipher exclusively. Now, up until this point, I wanted to help just anybody. So the trading was large time frames, mostly dollar cost averaging, using things like the RSI, the MACD, Bollinger Bands, macro trends, news about politics, rants, fun stuff. That's all great for people who don't want to pay for a serious indicator, who just want to kind of dabble a little bit and go back to their normal lives and hope for the best. But me in real life, who I actually am, I'm up at 2 in the morning, pacing, muttering, chain smoking. I'm on the 2-minute chart with 10x leverage, trading Bitcoin against the Chinese. Now, I know normal people can't live like that. So I'm going to meet you somewhere in the middle. I'm going to show you what my actual trading strategy is. And it uses Market Cipher specifically. You can't do this with any other indicator. It's a powerful strategy that I call, and we call, the blue wave strategy, or even the core strategy of Market Cipher. So let's look at Polkadot, for instance, on a regular chart. This has no indicators on it. If you were to load Market Cipher A and Market Cipher B, you're getting all kinds of additional information, and it can seem initially overwhelming, like your first day as an airline pilot. So I'm going to break down briefly what all of these symbols and tools mean and do. And then I'm going to go over some past trades that I've spotted and profited from using Market Cipher exclusively. So first we have all this stuff. What is all this? You have these moving averages, these ribbons. When they're in full color, that's a bullish move. When they're grayed out, that's a bearish momentum, bearish move. And you're going to have 20 different tools that all say if something's bullish or bearish. So never look at just one part of the indicator package and make a move based on that. The reason why you have so much information is that you're looking for multiple points of confluence. We want a lot of different things all pointing towards the same idea to give you more affirmations to either make a move or not make a move. Think of it like you're going into a war zone. It's important to know where the enemy troops are, what kind of weapons they have. What did they eat this morning? Are they well rested? What kind of socks are they wearing? You know all of this stuff. Is that all pertinent information? That's up to you to decide. But it's better to know it than to not know it. The other general, he's using the MACD and hoping for the best. You know everything. And so now you can make a more well-informed decision in the battle to come. Now the battle is you versus the market, and we're trying to take people's money here. That's how we know we won. So we have our EMA ribbons. Great. Okay, secondly, we have all of these symbols all over the candles. The candles I use are the Heikin Ashi style candles, easiest to read, okay? So we have bullish and bearish symbols. Bullish symbols include these little yellow diamonds. Little yellow diamonds. That's a signal of a bullish continuation of the current trend. You have green dots. A green dot up here is like a long symbol. It says, hey, it's looking bullish. Okay, sure. And then if you see a green dot on the bottom here, that signals it's likely a local bottom. So when this prints right here, that's telling you it's probably a good time to buy right now. And listen, if you listen to it at the time, hey, you made pretty well. You bought right here and it went up. Not bad. On the bearish side, you have these little red diamonds. That's your first soft warning that, hey, the move is starting to lose some steam. You don't have to pull out just yet, but just know that you should probably start looking a little closer. Then the red X is your hard warning. That's take your profits and get out or consider switching to shorts. The most bearish symbol you can see is the blood diamond. The blood diamond means short with both hands or take your money and get out. This is your last warning. The blue triangles, they just signify that it's likely a reversal of the previous trend. Now, you don't want to look at any one of these symbols and think, oh, I'm going to make a move. This is one of 20 things. Okay, like I said, we want lots of points of confluence. Oh, last symbol here. If you see a yellow X, that means there's some funny business going on. There's some market manipulation from big whales or institutions. It's beyond our control, so it's best to just step aside or assume bearish movement. Okay? So I don't recommend trading into a yellow X. Don't do that. Okay? Or just assume it's going down. You can definitely short a red X or a blood diamond, okay? But a yellow X, I don't really know what's going to happen, so I wouldn't make a move on that. That's Market Cipher A, the top part. And it works in conjunction with Market Cipher B, which, for me, is the moneymaker. This is where it all comes together. You have a lot going on here. You have the blue momentum wave, which has a strategy called the blue wave strategy, which is what I use primarily. That is exclusive to Market Cipher. And then you have this cash flow. Cash flow is the red that when it's in the negative and green when it's in the positive. So if you have red cash flow, that's money leaving the asset. If it's green cash flow, that's money going into the asset. All right? So as you can see, when you get red cash flow, price is going down. Green, it's going up because people are putting money into it. The yellow wave here it's a traditional VWAP and a momentum wave kind of combined and smoothed over. So you can use this as an additional way of calling out whether price action is going to be bullish or bearish. So you have your center line, your zero line, and if you see, and this is kind of small on your screen, but if you see like the VWAP going up into or crossing over the zero line, you can consider that a bullish move. If you see it crossing downwards across the zero line, see if it's going down like that, you can consider that bearish price action is coming. It's a lot of redundancy, but we want a lot of things to point us in one direction so we can pull the trigger on a move. And then you have two RSIs. You have a regular RSI, which is always purple, and that just shows if something is overbought. Like if it's up here, it's overbought. If it's down low, it's oversold. And then a stochastic RSI, that's one line that normally a stochastic RSI has two lines, and you're watching for when they cross over each other for a bearish or bullish prediction, all right? And here, it reduces it to one line. That's green for bullish and red for bearish. Now, the VWAP and the RSIs, I would consider like your bench players. You're not going to win the championship with them, but it's nice to have them on the team as additional affirmation, okay? So having all of that vaguely in mind, it's a lot to tell you at once. And there are a lot more videos that go into detail that cover all this stuff. I use the blue wave strategy, which, as simple as I can tell you, uses the momentum wave, considers the cash flow movements, and gets confirmation from some of the symbols up here. So what we're looking for, the blue wave strategy, is an anchor wave, a fat, deep wave, followed by a trigger wave, a smaller wave that follows it. And we have that here, okay? And we're also looking for cash flow to move smoothly. I want to see round price action. So rather than choppy, I don't like that. I want cash flow to move in a smooth, round pattern, like this. That I can predict. It's a little choppy here, not ideal, but it's looking like it's pulling upwards, okay? Looks good. So I see the cash flow moving in a relatively predictable pattern. It's February 15th. I see the trigger wave kick in. Looking closer at the blue waves, we're looking for when the light blue becomes dark blue. You see when that happens? When the light blue kind of cuts into the dark blue? That's the beginning of a momentum reversal. And that is a key point of interest for us. So we have our anchor wave, and we have our trigger wave. And so for visual references, I'm going to draw a point from this moment where it transferred to this peak right here, where the light blue became the dark, right? And that's where I'm going to place my long. So let's, this is where I marked it here. Right there. That's when I entered a long, right in this spot. And that netted me, what was that? Yeah, I remember making like 21% on this over 6 days. Pretty good. Now that was because we had our anchor and our trigger wave, but also, and just as importantly, the cash flow was moving in a way that I liked. Nice, smooth, round movement. By contrast, I'll show you one where the cash flow wasn't quite there, and the move wasn't as good. So this one we got 21% profit, okay? This following wave, just a few days later, we'll draw it here, right here, right here. Hey, we got our anchor and our trigger, although the anchor wave is not as deep, right? Not as deep, but it is still an anchor versus a trigger wave. We have a nice difference in size. This is pretty big. This is not bad. But look at the cash flow. It's moving downwards. It's not quite as healthy as it was. Not the same, that smooth S curve I'm looking for. Not quite there. But I still took the move. And that marked, let me mark it on the screen so it's easier for you to see. I jumped in right there and got, I think this is closer to like 8%. We ride it to the top of the next wave, okay, right where it transfers again from light blue to dark blue. This was an 8% profit over 8 days. I mean, 8% is not a ton, but it's easy money. You might as well take it. And that's the way I looked at it. So the difference between a 21% gain and an 8% gain was the cash flow above anything else. And then here, this is almost there. For instance, this is Polkadot right now, like leading up to this exact moment. Cash flow's been negative. All right, we had blood diamonds. Everybody's freaking out. It's pulling back up a little bit. You see a green dot. It looks like a local low, a nice DCA opportunity. Sure. But it looks like we're going, and we've been going up, but I don't have a trigger wave yet. So I'm not going to jump in on a long, personally. If I see this pull down, maybe we start a trigger wave around here somewhere in the next couple of weeks, and the cash flow's still in the green, I'd probably jump in a blue wave strategy trade right there. Now, with a read just like that, here's Atom, Cosmos, another chart. Do you see what I see? If not, let me draw some things for you. Okay, the way we spot a trend is at least 3 touches on one line. So I got 1, 2, about 3, 4, 5, 6. We're riding along this trend line here. And also, I'm not sure what the levels are just by looking at it with the naked eye. So what we could use, and this is all free stuff. You don't have to, this isn't part of the Market Cipher indicator. We'll do a trend-based fib. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but we'll do swing low, swing high, swing low of the trend. Okay, so it looks like these are our local ranges. We have the trend, and then here on Market Cipher, see if I can move this up a little for us. A nice anchor wave. A nice anchor wave. Cash flow is still a little choppy. It's kind of round, but not ideal. Not that great. Sure, the RSI is green and kind of bullish, a little overbought, but the volatility's not really there, not a ton of volume. So I'm kind of hemming and hawing a little bit. But then I see this teeny tiny trigger wave. This is on the daily chart, by the way. Little trigger wave, and it transferred over right there. And then I noticed the cash flow is just starting to enter the green. And it hasn't been in the green since March. So we've been in the red for what, 4 months? And so I know things tend to move like a cycle. Well, okay, that's good. I drew typical. The anchor wave we have here and the trigger wave, although small, I'm going to take it. So I'm going to draw one here, here for visual reference. Pretty bullish. Yeah, okay, looks about the same. And I entered a trade right here. So if we took this previous little nodule as our trigger wave, you know, you're making 9-10% over 2 days. Pretty good. But I feel like this one is going to move a little better than that. Because that 9-10% move was when it was, you know, red. The cash flow wasn't there yet. But this one, we're just entering green money flow. And we're bouncing off this trend that we've been in for a couple of weeks now. All right. I think that it's likely over the next, let's see here, measure. How long would this take? I'm going to say about 3 weeks. So if we draw money flow like that, I think it goes into the green throughout August. And since we've been accumulating in this area for so tight, easily we're getting back up to this range here. We could get rejected here. We could surpass it. So legit, what happens, we have 3 possibilities. Either we go up to about 7% back to where we were, or a little higher up to the 786 on the fib. That's a 9% gain. If the cash flow is actually strong for a while, see how it's been red for 4 months? And then before that, hang on, before that it was green for 3 months. If you get like a switch over to the green like that, I'm thinking we could go as high as this next fib level at 33%. So worst case scenario, we make 7-8%. Mid case is like 12, and then the big case is more like 26 to 30%. And so I got into that trade. I think this was yesterday. And indeed, we've had 2 green candles since I got in. Now, if we're looking at our symbols, we have a blue triangle signifying a likely trend reversal. The previous trend was downwards, so it's thinking it's going to go up. And then the last 2 times we had a blue triangle, it did signify the correct change. Now, here's a mix-up here. We got a green dot, but then it was overruled. Look at this stuff. Momentum wave was coming down. The cash flow wasn't there. So like I said, don't just see one symbol and think that's enough. You want to have multiple points of confluence. So that's a trade I just entered that's using the same exact strategy that I did with Polkadot back here. So you have your anchor wave, your trigger wave. Jump in at the trigger wave's peak. Now you're not going to see any of this yet, right? You're not going to see any of this. You're jumping in right at the start, right here. So you might look like you're jumping off a cliff, but you're not. You got the indicator helping you. See, when I jumped in here, it was March 28th. None of this existed yet. But because of Market Cipher, I go, yeah, cash flow's coming down, but the VWAP's coming up. We have our trigger wave and our anchor wave. We got a green dot on the anchor wave, too. That's a deep anchor wave. We should see, like, 8 to 10%. And indeed, that's what we got. So you ride the momentum up to the next wave here, where the light blue becomes dark, and you can take your profit there. With this move, with the atom move, you can take your profit at the peak of the next wave, or wait for the cash flow to play itself out. So you either take quick profits early in like a week, or you wait 2 to 4 weeks for the cash flow prediction to play out. And that's a little riskier, but if you've been doing this long enough, it doesn't seem risky at all. Let me try to find an example of that. Okay, here's an example of what I mean by watching cash flow. Yeah, and I even marked this as a previous trade I did way back in June of 22. Okay, so starting over from ground zero, June of 22, for example, I see an anchor wave with 2 green dots, but the cash flow is super low, but it's looking roundish, right? Looking roundish. But up to here, I got my first trigger wave, and I missed that. I didn't see it. Then I got the second one, and I saw cash flow moving upwards. And that was extra confirmation for me. And so right here, where's my vertical line? Here it is. Right here was when I jumped in. At the peak of that trigger wave, okay? And I stayed through here. I could have taken profits here, which would have been, cheese and rice, 20%. I could have taken 20% here after 6 days, but I didn't. I stayed in it because I saw cash flow continuing to move in a nice round pattern. And I go, okay, I'm going to stay and watch this cash flow play out. I want it to go up and continue into the green for a while, then I'll take my profits. So I watched. And instead of taking 20% right up front, I waited and I saw it go into the red and I was like, oh no, wait, but the cash flow was still moving the way I liked. I went, okay, I can probably hold on to this. I can wait. And indeed, the cash flow's smooth round momentum continued into the green, and then I watched it. I rode it all the way up to the next blue wave for a 40, actually it was like 46%. 46% profit over 30 days. So that's what I mean by reading cash flow. But even if you're not good at that yet, you can still just do the blue wave strategy and make little choppy gains. Why not? And this works on all time frames. Now, I personally like larger ones because pacing and muttering at 2 in the morning on the 1 minute with high leverage is stressful for me. And not everybody can do that. So I'm taking a step back and I'm going to do daily chart stuff more often, which I like. So there's no leverage, there's no fees. You just buy at the spot price and make note. Now, if you know that if your trade is going to take a few weeks to play out, don't forget. Like, don't buy something and then forget that you did it, and then your moment comes and goes, and oh crap, yeah, 2 weeks ago I was supposed to sell that, I forgot. Now you missed your moment, and you're stuck waiting for who knows how long. You got to turn into a DCA strategy instead, okay? So if you're working on big time frames like the daily or even the weekly, make note in some kind of trading journal or something, or even mark it here. Often I'll make a mark, like on my charts, because I'm always looking at the charts. I go, hey, I bought 557 at 213 right around here. Like, don't forget, okay? All right. And I remember, and I drew this little thing here. I was looking for a trend. The trend actually has since fallen apart. Render was in a trend going back March. It was like here. Like that. And then it's since fallen through. So I was trading this back and forth. And then this huge momentum fall, even though cash flow is kind of strong, sent us all the way to the bottom side. There's a green dot, so I DCA'd a little bit. But I'm looking for like a trigger wave strategy that's worthwhile. I could have, with render, could have done one here. Jumped in along right here and made 8%, 9%, and got out for sure because there's a blood diamond right after that. So the market in crypto is tough right now. You're not making 300% profit by being an idiot. You actually have to read and understand what you're looking at and scavenge every little trade you can. Look at different times, different assets. You're looking for the different kinds of waves that you find interesting. So every morning, check all your assets, see if anything interesting is coming along. So like Solana, there was one that I got earlier. Let's see here. It's in my journal. I made notes. So it was using the blue wave strategy. We had an anchor wave, and we actually had little trigger waves here that I missed. But I wasn't excited because the cash flow is coming down. You know, momentum's kind of floppy. It was a little choppy. I wasn't into it yet. But then when I saw this one, and the cash flow kind of curving up a little bit, and the VWAP coming up. I go, okay, the RSI is turning green. All right. This was a red diamond, but I hadn't seen anything yet. It wasn't a red X, so it wasn't totally over yet. I go, all right, let me, for visual reference, that's what I saw, that little move. And I go, okay, I'm going to jump into a long right here. And I'm going to ride it all the way up to this next peak. The next time I see a peak or the cash flow is looking better, that's when I'll leave. But I just jumped in here with Solana, and I got out at about 24% at the next peak. I think I got out like 23 to 24% profit after 7 days. That's with the Market Cipher Blue Wave strategy. That's spot. That's no leverage. You just buy low and sell high. You can also do this in reverse. You can do this for shorts, and I did it right after that. So I made my long profit, and now I'm at the peak of this wave, right? And I'm kind of waiting for a short opportunity, which I could have taken right here. But I was looking somewhere else. I got something to eat. I went to bed. You know, I'm living my life. I missed it. But then I saw this wave here, and I even marked it for myself. So this is not a super high peak, but I took it anyway. I see momentum. It's good. Cash flow is kind of crappy. You know, the RSIs has turned red. Like, okay, it's green, but not really. We're still coming down. And then the market overall, the macro picture wasn't very positive. I'm going, okay, I could probably do a short here. I see the trigger wave. We're going down. I'm going to place a short right here. And then I watched it with bated breath. What if I'm wrong? Do I have enough information? It went down, 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 down. People are freaking out. And then I sold right at the peak of this next wave. A green dot printed right then too. And I go, oh, this is a local bottom. I should get out. And I waited a little long, and then boop, I got out about 31% profit on a short after 11 days. And I could have bought again and then rode it back up. But I'm going to stick with my trigger wave, anchor wave strategy. I didn't see it yet, so I didn't ride this back up. But I did ride it up and then down. Easy money. And so you can do this with Market Cipher with enough practice. The biggest thing is understanding what you're looking at. And these indicators, they tell you so much. And like I said, I'm missing most of the action. I'm looking for just one particular setup. And so for practice, look at assets that you're into and look for that kind of arrangement. Anchor waves with a green dot, ideally. You want to see cash flow curving upwards, a little trigger wave here. What would have happened if you caught that? Would that actually work? Let's see if we tried this one. Your first anchor wave is here. Cash flow is moving up. I theoretically would have taken this move. How much would I have made? 20% over 6 days. Okay, well, what if I missed the first one? I see this second trigger wave. It's a small trigger wave, but look at how deep we were back here. I could take this move too. What would I have made? You get here, you're like, oh, I'll ride this up to the next wave. 18% over 9 days. And this is with a crypto that no one cares about. It's only $25. It doesn't matter what the price is. What matters is the volatility, and if you can predict it and take advantage of it. You want the price to change as much as possible. I like crypto because you can trade whenever you want. Like with stocks, let's say I'm trying to do this stuff with Tesla. Hopefully this happens when my Wells Fargo broker is awake, the 15 minutes he's online. Oh, I wanted to do it here. Oh, too bad he'll get around to it next Wednesday. I missed the move. You can't do it. Crypto is so much faster. And there's so many different things to play with. And if you have a powerful tool like Market Cipher, you can make money at any time. Like just as long as you can read it. And if you don't see anything interesting on the daily, switch your time. Your time interval. Look at the 30-minute chart. Do you see anything? The 5-minute chart. Do you see anything? The hour. Ooh, what do we have here? Hang on a second. Cava. Oh. Okay. Kava. What is this on the 5 minute? Deep anchor wave here. You could get into a long. Now I wasn't here. I'm not looking at this time. But you could have rode this all the way up to the next one for 1%. But if you're doing really close time frames like this, it's because you're using leverage. So if you 10x leverage this, you made 10% on your money in 5 hours. And so that's what these fast trading scalpers are using. Is they're using 5 to 10x leverage, the Market Cipher blue wave strategy, and they're killing it. Now, Market Cipher, you get what you pay for, and it's not cheap. You got 1 trillion free indicators, and you got a lot of people that steal part of Market Cipher and try to make it work, but it's not the whole system. And those are lagging indicators. They don't work nearly as well. Plus, you're not part of the group. You're not on the Discord. So the people who buy Market Cipher are people who take it seriously. It's $600 a year or $1,500 for life. But you saw how easy it was. I just pointed out 6 trades effortlessly. It pays for itself very quickly, as long as you know how to read it. And I'm just giving you like the 101 version. I'm like an idiot using Market Cipher and making positive trades. That's just with spot too. These guys are killing it all day with leverage and using these waves and stuff. So I got to get as good as them. But as you can see, it's the same strategy. It just depends on how often you want to do it. So go through your assets, look around, and pick off the easy kills. Take what it gives you. There's a referral link in the description. You can get Market Cipher yourself. On their website they have, and then on YouTube, there are official videos from CryptoFace and Jason Casper. All kinds of high-level traders are using this, and they have videos on how to use Market Cipher. I'm making some myself for the official website that I'm going to put a lot more effort into. But I just wanted to show my tiny audience here on YouTube how this can work. Even if you don't fully understand what I'm talking about yet, which you shouldn't, this is a terrible way to describe it, but I showed you how easy it can be. So if you're interested in Market Cipher, look up more videos on it. I just showed you the basics of the blue wave strategy, and there's countless others you can use. If you want it, get it. Join us on Discord. There are hundreds of guys on there that are 1,000 times smarter than me that post their trades and their strategies and things that they're finding. And you can get those strategies. You don't have to go to war by yourself. There's a whole team of people that have done it before, that are way smarter than you, and you got the strongest tools in the world. Use it. See you around. Now you saw how easy that was. Use the blue wave strategy and countless others with Market Cipher today. Go to marketciphertrading.com, sign up, get the indicator, and join us on Discord. Learn from the masters there and push your trading skills to the next level. You deserve it.